here. One is, we've certainly listened to this discussion, and I think based on that discussion, we have a sense of what some of the overall priorities are to start approaching the budget. A lot of the instructions are details around, what you include in your salary projections and all those other things. Given the hour, my preference would be to carry over the inauguration of the 2009-10 budget development, and we can add those priorities in as we go along. I can assure you that no department is going to rush out and complete their proposed budget by next Friday. But it's good for them to have the general instructions just because they start thinking about it.
Okay. Supervisor Smith?
Well, I disagree with that. We rolled this discussion of 09-10 to this week from last week, and we don't meet next week, and so I think we need to take a break, and I think we need to get back to it.
Okay, well, and I'll do whatever the board directs.
We've already rolled it once. Yeah. I don't think this is getting us anywhere.
Yeah.
Mr. Chair, another option might be that we continue the discussion of the 09-10 until tomorrow, if we could come back.
Well, on Monday, March 16th, is a committee day. We could schedule a board meeting that morning, budget discussion that meeting at 9 o'clock.
10.
Would that be, I'm all for moving this forward, and I don't want to put it off either, but,
Yeah, well, we could take a break.
I think, well, then Monday would probably be a appropriate option, because I'm not sure how productive.
If I have a consensus, today. Tom, you want to make a quick comment? And I'm trying to move this.
Thank you, Tom Mitchell, Chief Executive Officer. I think from my standpoint, we've heard concerns from the board about being involved in the budget process. We have documentation that's scheduled to go out the next week and how the process works. We have meetings that are being scheduled with the departments to review their budget process. What we don't have is the mechanics of at what level of participation would the board like to join in the discussions with the departments. I've heard from Supervisor McCowan that and Supervisor Brown that they would like to be more involved in the budget process. We need to know those answers as quickly as possible, because we need to adjust. For instance, if a board member wants to sit in our discussions with departments, if one particular board member does, we go through that over an extensive 2-week period of time, and it's critical that the board member knows that's a time commitment, that we can't just spread it over a month period of time. It has to be done over a very short time window. So I would certainly suggest to you that we take a break and we come back and we talk about 08-09, because we need to get some decisions out of the board. At what level would you like to be involved?
In 09-10, you mean?
In 09-10, excuse me. Yes, thank you. So I would suggest we take a break and come back to it.
Okay, we'll take a 5-minute break. And, we have a very long closed session today, too.
I know, but we've been here for 3 hours. Couldn't we have 10?
10-minute break?
Yeah.
Okay, 10-minute break. The issue of the 809 budget shortfall, I feel that we've probably taken as far as we can today, and we move on with budget direction on the 9-10 budget, if that's agreeable to my colleagues. Supervisor Brown?
I so move.
I don't know that we need a motion. I think direction, but I concur.
Oh, Kendall, we have direction here from the colleagues to, it's basically the feeling that the 8-9 process, we're going to kind of leave that process where it's at, and we're now moving into direction in a 9-10 budget. Okay. Is Allison here to? Okay.
She's coming. I just saw her.
What we're moving into now is the budget process for the 9-10 budget, and the CEO's office, before they send out the budget instructions to the department heads, needs certain issues of direction from this board before they can move forward with their budget strategy. Tom? You got it.
I think we have a short presentation for you, and we'll keep it as short as possible. Allison?
We have the paper copy here, so if you can't.
And, Mr. Chair, I wouldn't want it to be, too short. I do want to cover the information, because I think there's a lot of information in there.
Well, keep in mind, this is not the budget process. This is just to try to give the CEO's office some direction on some strategic issues so they can send out their budget instructions to the department heads.
I might, in the meantime, while Allison's getting that ready, we did have a comment earlier from Supervisor Brown regarding she wanted to see contracts that we're doing, and our GSA director has reminded me that she fulfills a quarterly report obligation, and she gives me a copy of all contracts that are signed. So we'll work out an arrangement where we can give you the ones that have gone back through the beginning of this fiscal year, contracts that have been signed and gone through GSA, and then we'll continue to update those. She does those normally on a quarterly basis.
Quarterly basis then, and you'll give me the most recent?
We'll start from the beginning of this fiscal year, so you can see everything that we have issued contracts for this year, get up to date, and we can make a decision if you feel you'd like to have those more often. I'm sure we can make it a monthly report and then a quarterly summary. I can talk to our GSA director. The other comment that had come up in talking to Kristen is I had made a statement a few weeks ago at a board meeting that we would be reviewing all contracts for compliance, and her intent is she's reviewing all contracts that she has control over. But there are some contracts that are issued by other agencies, and we'll have to work out a mechanism how to review those contracts.
I think it's important in the process,
Certainly.
where we are today.
It's very easy for us to do for you. It's just additional information we can provide you very quickly.
Appreciate it very much. Thank you.
Supervisor Colfax?
Well, just to continue this, last week I suggested that what we needed to do is look at all these contracts and try to, and attempt to suggest that we try to negotiate a cutback, 10%, whatever, in terms of the economic climate we're operating in. Is this one of the intentions of is this one of the things you would like to see this review accomplish? Because if it is the case, I would say that is something that we should have had up on the board here a long time ago when this crisis hit. We should be looking at this. We should be looking at the Promotion Alliance. We should be looking at CDC. We should be looking at arrangements we made with the various agencies and groups that we sit on, the various committees we spend time sitting on, trying to challenge or get a reduction in the fees here. The cumulative effect of it could amount to hundreds of thousands of dollars if it were done correctly and enough effort were put into it. So I'm just wondering, is this a
It's a follow-up
anticipating
from-
a board? Yeah, I know, but I mean, for us to go forward as a board in this direction carries a little different significance than just one supervisor would like to look at this. I'm just,
Well, a supervisor, most of those contracts do have legal obligations to them, so I think we can certainly ask if someone is willing to reduce their fees to us, but because those are legally binding contracts, the only way we can effectively get a reduction is to terminate those contracts for the early termination clause based on a funding out clause. So we intend to call the various vendors and solicit reductions in their services, but there is no legal requirement that they
well, I
have to
understand
comply.
that, certainly. I mean, I'm not suggesting we go out and break contracts, but what I am saying is